Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. The sun is, well, it's out. I mean, it's light outside, so there must be sun. There's gray cloud cover. It is chill. I haven't slept well for the past, well, ever since it got warm and started raining, so I have terrible insomnia, and it's even worse when it gets warm, so thumbs up for that. Hopefully, though, you slept well, because that would be good. Definitely a thumbs up on that. And of course, front loading of videos. Hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be awesome. If you could leave me a comment, that would be double plus good. And I'd like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These are literally beautiful, awesome. Literally beautiful, awesome, literally beautiful, and literally awesome people that are literally beautiful and literally awesome, helping to keep me and my aging pet alive. I appreciate that. I know my aging pet appreciates that as well. If you would like to become a Patreon patron and help me stay alive, I have links in the video description along with a PayPal for possible donations, an Amazon wishlist link with stuff like cat food and such, and a post office box where if you send me anything at all, I'll show it off on camera, thumbs up. I only ask for postcards and keychains. So, hey, yay, front loading of videos over. Holy smokes, yeah, not much to talk about today. I haven't been able to think well. Oh boy, I keep falling asleep and then in my chair here, and then that just destroys everything working up here, because generally I stop breathing for times when I'm sleeping, and if I stop breathing long enough, I suffer really badly up here with my head ringing, my extremities tingling, because I stopped breathing long enough that I was like really hurting myself. Still though, yay. I'm going to talk about what a few things I have to talk about, and then I'm not going to talk anymore. That's just the way life goes, doesn't it? So yeah, I have got various plans for these sort of things and more. I don't know where I've got it propped up. Aha, here it is. This is one of the solo war game books that I have, and I want to play a couple of those scenarios and such to show off what they are for everybody here, as well as I want to start doing a lot of things like the Drifter, since that was gifted to me and I would like to show it off. I want to show off some of the horror solo stuff. I want to show people what I'm making up with this, putting the parts and pieces together. I really enjoy the solo role-playing stuff, and I like sharing it with people. It is a very good thing in my mind. Definitely a thumbs up on that. Past that, I have just been surviving. I took my walkies up to Walmart yesterday, and that is a good thing. I took an extra mile, and then I had to carry a 20-pound a 20-pound container of cat dirt in my backpack for the last 3 miles home. And let me tell you, when I get to southern Shelton and it's all uphill, that last mile sucks. Especially when you're carrying like 30 pounds of stuff on your back. Yay. But I did thinking on creative things that I could, so hopefully I'll be able to talk about that. But let's see on my list if there's anything on my list that I've got. And no, past that, I have talked about everything that has pretty much happened. Except that I have been talking about, because I cut my teeth way back when I was younger on Dungeons and Dragons. And even though I haven't played Dungeons and Dragons itself for decades, I mean, I stopped playing like 2nd edition, and they're on 5th edition, and have been on 5th edition for like 10 years. So it's something I just haven't done for a very, very long time. But being interested in the hobby, I've been paying attention, and yeah, this open game license thing, which is not an open game license, so many people are just turning their backs. They're saying, well, I was working on this project, and I got a copy of the leaked OGL, and tear that apart, and they're going to take their project, which was going to be for Dungeons and Dragons, and they're just going to make it system agnostic. Everybody is turning and leaving behind. Now, of course, that's not everybody. The smaller people, the smaller companies who won't be able to afford a battle or to get rid of everything they've done before will have to sign this terrible, terrible deal with Wizards of the Coast. Because it is a bad deal. They were saying in the OGL and their resulting letter about it, they're saying it only affects their royalties thing. You know, $750,000 sounds like a lot. They're saying it only affects 20 people, but those aren't 20 people, those are 20 businesses. And they're not talking about profits, they're talking about gross money made. So if you're a business and you've got to pay rent, and you got to pay your employees, and you pay for electricity, and you're paying for the printing of your product, and you're paying for all of this stuff, you might spend $750,000 just right there. And then all of a sudden, you haven't even got your product out yet. And there's $750,000. Well, at that point, you know, you've got to sell your product. But you make your product, you sell it, you're pumping all of this money into that portion of it to pay for the building, to pay for your employees, to pay for your electricity. And Wizards of the Coast says, that's $750,000. You owe us 25% of that. And that's expenses that they're paying. So that comes out of their profits even more. Wizards of the Coast can end up making more money by taking their royalties from these people than the people will make making the product. So yeah, it's bad and getting worse. People are just, it's not good. Especially since I've mentioned before, they are trying desperately to leave behind the physical product and make one D&D, the next edition, 6th edition, into a thoroughly online electronic product so they can monetize it to death. Thumbs up for that. Still though, oh, and of course, just on the politics side in the United States, Bo the Fifth Column, this rednecky looking Florida guy who's really a strong leftist, was talking about how, you know, all of these people in the GOP got elected by promising that they are going to investigate all of these things that the Democrats are doing, these corrupt Democrats. If you're in the House of Representatives and you want to investigate somebody, you use the House Ethics Committee. You use the House Ethics. The very first day that these Republicans who promised that they were going to be investigating the Democrats, the very first thing they did was start in motion things to gut that office entirely so that it can't look into them. Yeah. So it's going to be a good 2 years here in the United States. Still though, on the creative front, there are some things I do want to talk about. Like, I do think it's funny, as stated, and I'm not the only one. I mean, there have been some very funny music videos made where the point of the music video was the main character is going through and murdering everyone. And by the end of the music video, which is funny, there is a pile of human corpses. So yeah, human death can be absolutely hysterical. And so had been trying to think more on this. I mentioned the whole ethics thing, and it wasn't just one question. I mean, they had like 23 different tests that they were taking this one very ethical, highly ethical, very moral, strong sense of wrong and right, has never ever hurt anybody. And in every single test, all 23 of these ethical tests, he just eats the woman there that's trying to go through the test with him. He eats all 23 volunteers at the end of a 23 long day period. And they're like, why did you eat them all? And he's like, well, number one, I didn't just eat them, you fed them to me. I mean, you saw after the first one I ate that was likely to happen, and you kept leaving me alone with them. I refuse to take blame for this. And number two, I showed you where each of my decisions that I made was ethical and moral, and there was no other choice to be made. It was either divide that peanut butter sandwich in half, or consume her bodily and entirely. The only way out of this ethical dilemma was to consume her bodily and entirely. It's not my fault you put me into these situations. So, of course, because it's a combination of human cryptids and humans whose third eyes have opened that are part of this study, one of the people, of course, would say, look, I understand. I mean, I get it. Some of these ethical situations we put you in, I mean, I can't. But if I could have, I would have eaten them to get out of the situation. So I get it. But, 23... So, yeah, I have a weird sense of humor, so thumbs up on that. Past that, I've just been thinking of, like, the Razor's Edge, the Crimson Kingdom, various such and things like that. The Abernathy Beast I've been working on, because on the Razor's Edge project, there is this one situation where the people in the town of Abernathy are really glad they've gotten an electronic contract signed with the Crimson Kingdom. Not only that, they are glad, they are proud of the fact that not only was their contract accepted in the bidding, but the Crimson King, the King in Crimson themselves, electronically, digitally signed the contract. Not a committee, not an underling, the actual King in Crimson themselves. And so they are very proud, they're very glad, because this is going to put Abernathy on the map. And Abernathy is just a moderately small little town farm place that was a fairly recently built commune by a bunch of like-minded people who want to grow food and have trade contracts and trade food for goods with others. So they've been doing that for a time, made a bid with a contract with the Crimson Kingdom on the inside, and won. And again, they were just so proud of that Abernathy was finally going to be on the map. That, of course, is why it's an ironic statement, because later on, when the crops that they are growing hit a certain threshold, that, of course, is when the beast is awoken, and it has to eat X number of people before it can go back to sleep and try to sleep until it dies. It has been doing this for so long. The first 10,000 times that it just woke up to kill, it loved it. It loves to kill. Killing things is awesome, it's beautiful, it's fun, it enjoys it. And then, after a few feastings, they discovered that if they eat the corpses, that terrifies people even more. So that was what they did. And then it's even more terrifying if the beast just eats the people without killing them. And so that's what they do. But on the Razor's Edge, power and repetition is dangerous. And for the first 10,000 feastings, the beast loved it, was loving every moment of it. The next 10,000 were starting to get a little stale. At the beginning of the next 10,000, the beast tried to switch things up and discovered that it couldn't. Power and repetition grinds things in on the Razor's Edge. If you keep doing something, that can become a permanent part of your character. Reality will help you stay there. It's like you are making ruts in soft mud, but the longer you go driving, the deeper the ruts get and the drier the mud gets, until eventually you can only drive in the ruts. You can't turn the wheels to get out. You have to go in the ruts. That's what's happened to the beast. And by the time all joy had been just drained from its life through sheer repetition, well, that was about the 40 or 50,000th feasting that it did. It's lost track of how many feastings it had, but life lost all meaning several million feastings ago. It's just trying desperately to sleep long enough that death can claim it. It is so tired of living, it just wants to go. But every time it's pulled back by a threshold of domestic crops, it wakes up And within this circle of people, it has to eat X number of them. And then it can go back to sleep. During all this time, the last 100,000 feastings, nothing has been new. There is nothing new under the sun for this creature. Not a single word, not an action taken, not a person hiding. Nothing was new. It was just repetition of the same thing. It is so desperately tired of existing. But this one 14-year-old girl that has a expressed genetics that brings it up and out of the the victim pool, the beast there explains that all of this, and then even mentioning that, this is all, I have had this conversation so many times, there is nothing new. But that's when she shows the beast the phone that she's been recording this on, because for the first time in the beast's existence, there is a powerful enough and stable enough kingdom on the inside. They have solved the problem of communication between universes, and this 14-year-old girl sends the recording of what the beast was saying off to the servers in the Crimson Kingdom. So the king in Crimson has to wait until the beast finishes eating everyone in Abernathy. And no matter where they hide, no matter how far, where they go, what they do, there is nowhere they can go that the beast cannot find them. There is no place to hide that they can't be dragged out. There is no place they can go to get away that the beast will not follow them and devour them. And then it can go back to sleep and try to sleep until it dies. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. I'm going to go through and thank how many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. It isn't many at all, but for each person that did so, thank you so very much. It is appreciated. My channel continues to slowly die, but for each and every person that does watch, it is appreciated to no end. Thank you so very, very much. If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended, and even though I count American Sign Language, I have been so time blind. My ADHD is out of control, even medicated. We have Jesse Koskinen, who made tacos. Thumbs up, very good thing. Flora Mew, I know, those poor critters. It is actually, I tried to make there's no good end, no good stories, no positive character arcs on the cryptid stories. They're my ways of dealing with things like encroaching mortality. You can't beat death. There are no happy stories for the cryptid world. Thumbs up. Confused Owl 29, always good to see you in the comments, my friend, and I'm glad you enjoy the Minecraft videos. That's a good thing. Orange Melody, thumbs up and thank you. Greatly appreciated. JAYY, thumbs up, and I have watched that one video on the Adventure Time thing where the Ice King comes and Marceline just breaks down as they do the flashback of how the Ice King became the Ice King and how Simon was just destroyed by this crown, and it is so freaking sad. I'm almost gonna cry just thinking about it right now. That was such a heavy video, such a heavy cartoon. Chris, greatly appreciated, good to see you. At th3_Gort-X, thumbs up and thank you. And then there is RJ Mitchell, greatly appreciated, and that is it. 8 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours to get me out of my head, into the world, and dealing with real people. Thumbs up and thank you. Well, I'm gonna try and get stuff done today. Yesterday just went blink, and it was gone. So I'm gonna hopefully get some stuff done today. I don't know what, but I'm gonna try. Hopefully you can get done the things that you need to get done. That would be a good thing. And of course, with everything happening in the world, please, if people are getting sick where you are, take appropriate precautions. Try masking up. Try keeping 6 feet away from people. Especially, oh my God, I've watched so many people they're just talking and yakking, and it's like a hose. People are just spraying stuff everywhere when they talk. Ugh, I wear a mask around everyone anymore. And if people are getting hurt where you are, try staying away from those areas. That might be a good plan. If you live in one of those areas, there's not much you can do. I understand. Even though I live in poverty, I still live in a position of privilege. So I do my best. And of course, if you're out walking and you hear the mournful howl of that bus, the bus with your name on it, I mean, your time is up. You're gonna get smeared over the landscape when that bus hits you. It probably won't hurt for very long at all, but there might not even be enough left for, autopsy identification. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is a very good idea.